Good day, everyone. My name is Israel Martinez Quiroz, and I'm a language professor at Escuela Normal número 4 de Nezahualcóyotl in the state of Mexico. In this moment, I am working on a research project in this school based on some situations that we have observed in schools in basic education. That's why I decided to take advantage of this activity and let you know a little bit about it. The name of this presentation is called Teaching English to Blind and Deaf Learners through Braille and the American Sign Language. This with the intention of preparing an inclusive proposal for language teachers. It is very important to understand that this is only a first part of the researching process. And this is my presentation. In my presentation you will be seeing some slides which will help you understand a little bit about what I prepare for you. As you can see, this is the structure of this presentation. We can see the general contents which I will be presenting through this video. Let me start with the introduction part. The first part of the introduction is to let you know a little bit about how everything started. And this intention to investigate a bit about people with special disabilities was like originated because in the school where I work, we have 3 different programs. We prepare teachers to become English language teachers. We prepare teachers to become elementary education teachers, and the third one is that we prepare teachers for inclusive education. I mean, teachers who will be working with the disabled or with these particular education characteristics in our children. And one day, having a word with one of my colleagues, I was wondering how these people are being taught. Do they have the same education as regular students? In other words, and more important, do they have the same opportunity to learn a second language? And the answer was no. And I said, but why aren't they being taught a second language, as it may also be important for them to learn it? And then we decided to create a researching protocol in order to find out what has been happening during these times with these people. How are they access education, and so on and so on. So our first finding was that it has been a long time since these people are being considered in education. We found out that the National Deaf School was opened in 1867, and the Blind National School was also opened in 1870. It's been a long time they are being working with these people, but not many know what they've been doing for them. So we decided to find a little bit more about it and what has happened until our times. And we found out that about 50 years ago, there was another organization that promoted the work with this kind of people, and I'm talking about the Special Education General Coordination. This organization is working with 2 special institutions or places that try to work with these disabled people. For example, the very famous or non-very famous CAMs, which are Centros de Atención Múltiple, in which all the students with disabilities are being taught by specialists. The blind, the deaf, people with autism, with Tourette, with Down syndrome, and so on, are all together in those places, and they are working, trying to learn something. And the other institution or the other organization is the USAER, which is La Unidad de Servicios de Apoyo a la Educación Regular, and these are a group of people or specialists that are integrated into regular schools, and their principal duty is to guide the regular teachers on how to work with the students with special learning conditions. But then we decided to find out what was happening with these schools or institutions, organization, because we didn't find many of them in our country, and we found out that they are being extincted. Gradually, they've been taken out of the system, and then another question came, and that was, if they are not working anymore with these people, how are they going to be educated? How are they going to be taught? And we found out that based on the new education policies, which promote inclusion and equity for everybody, and that everybody deserves the same type of education, now these kind of people, these kind of students are being taken into regular schools. So it is more and more common to see a blind student in a regular class, a deaf student in a regular class. And another question appeared: are teachers now prepared to work with these kind of students? Do they have the right or the appropriate abilities to communicate at least with these people? How do they communicate with a deaf person? And then we decided to find out, to conduct some surveys, some interviews on the place I work and some other schools around, and the statistics were very shocking. We found out that as much as 5% of the teachers in my area do not consider that a problem, because they know a little bit on how to communicate with the students, not how to work with them, but how to communicate at least. And how about the others? How about the other teachers? How are they going to work with these students? And so we also decided to find out what was the real number of people with this condition. So we also investigated, and we found out that based on what INEGI in the 2020 survey says, in Mexico we are approximately 126 million, 14,024 people in Mexico. And according to their statistics, the 16% of these people demonstrated a particular disability, blindness, deafness, they suffer from Tourette, from any physical condition that makes their life difficult. And from those 16% gives a number of more than 20 million people with the special conditions, physical, cognitive conditions. And now, from those 20 million people, 12 million people said they have visual problems at certain point. So probably if you are wearing glasses in this moment, you are part of these statistics. And from those 12 million people, there is a big number of 1,292,201 people who are totally blind. Now the question is, how are they being taught in regular schools if they have the possibility to access? And the second number that we found out was about deaf people. According to the Mexican Deaf Federation, 300,000 people get communicated through Mexican Sign Language. That doesn't mean those are all the deaf people in our country. There are many more, but they do not communicate with sign system. They do not have a standard communication way. Now, deaf people, blind people, what will happen when they have to communicate with other peoples or with other people with or from a different country? Don't you think it's also important for them to learn a second language like English? Well, at this moment we are working on some proposals to help people or help teachers become aware of the importance of teaching them English, obviously with some strategies. And our first proposal is based on preparing teachers on how to teach English through to deaf people through the American Sign Language, and also to teaching blind students reading and writing through Braille. And for that, it's very important to understand what is Braille and how it works. And for that, I will try to explain in short what is Braille by watching this video. And with this video, I will show you that Braille needs some devices to write, not only like a regular pencil and paper. No, it needs special devices, and they are called a slate and a stylus. A stylus is like our pencil, and the slate is the instrument they use in order to guide their writing. So it is very important to say that the Braille writing devices are inexpensive, mechanical and portable tools that enable users to write Braille just as a pencil and paper used for regular people. The slate and the stylus is the oldest Braille writing method, and it was invented by Louis Braille himself. When the inventor began to create the Braille, he used an awl to punch dots into paper. Over the time, the awl shape was modified into a stylus type with metal and equipped with a pear-shaped or saddle-shaped handle for easy to use. The slate and stylus device are available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Size is determined by how many lines the slate has available and how many cells there are in each line. Most often, slates consist of two flat pieces of metal or plastic hinged together on one side and containing 4 rows of 28 Braille cells. They range from a single, then aligned slates with one short line of Braille to full-page slates that will cover an entire sheet of paper. User open the slate and clamp a sheet of paper between the two flat surfaces, and the uppermost panel has rows of rectangular shapes stamped into it and tiny scallops that form the edges of the rectangles. The lower panel is covered with 6-dot rectangles pressed into the metal and pointing downward. The indentations in the slate are the same shape and size as a Braille cell, and they prevent the stylus from punching a hole on the paper when the dots are embossed. The stylus consists of a piece of pointed metal with a plastic or wooden handle, and the users emboss Braille by pressing the tip of the stylus down through the rectangular openings. The scallops along the edges of the stylus help users to align the tip with the dot beneath as they apply pressure to emboss Braille on the on the paper. Since Braille is read from left to right with the dots raised, a slate and a stylus require users to punch dots on the other side. That means from right to left. The desk slates are great for beginners who have trouble moving the slate down the paper as they are ready to use. So whichever type of the devices users decide to buy, obviously it is very important for you to consider this as a start. Now, what is the second proposal, American Sign Language? Well, American Sign Language is a complete natural language that has the same linguistic properties as a spoken language with grammar, but in this case it differs from the English normal format. American Sign Language is expressed in this case by movements of the hand and face. It is the primary language of many American people who speak English, and they are either deaf or hard of hearing, and it is also used by some other people who can hear, but they communicate with the deaf through the American Sign Language. Now, the proposal here to communicate with the deaf people is to learn the American Sign Language. One alternative is like to watch the videos on YouTube that show you how to use your hands, your fingers to represent words or meanings. The most recommendable way to start is to try to begin with the alphabet, as it is very crucial, it's very important. And I will myself show you the alphabet signing so that you start practicing with this video. Let me play it for you, and here we go. And this is just the alphabet. Let me click on it, and I will say the words while you listen, and here we go. And okay, this is the letter A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. So as you can see, it is a very simple way to represent letters, and from this principle you will be learning gradually words, and then once you have learned words you can learn phrases and so on and so on. That way you will soon be communicating with the American Sign Language. And well, I will need a long time to explain you everything we have done, but that will be only the beginning, just with the intention of raising awareness on you on the importance of learning these communication means, so that we can like participate in the benefit of people who cannot see or who cannot hear or speak. If you have any opinion on regard of what I have presented, I will be very glad to read you in the comments below. If you have any proposal, any idea, please feel free to comment on this issue, because I consider it is very important for us as professionals in education. I have no more words but to say thank you for having listened to this dissertation. Thank you very much.